I would like to go through the outline, the agenda of this event. Basically, we are offering you two high-quality bachelor programs, International Business Economics and Finance and Accounting. Professor Gabor Zemplén will give you a thorough insight and presentation about these courses and also the teaching of ELTE Institute of Business Economics. And then later on, we will proceed to the teacher's perspective section, the speech given by Professor Patrick Baud. And then later on, we will move to the student's perspective. We have two guests here, two of our lovely students, Khanh and Saptadip Dey, who will give you separate presentations about their experiences, memories, and all the opportunities that you can have while studying at ELTE. And then at the very end, we will finish by a Q&A where you can ask all your questions, and please use the chat box for that purpose. And don't worry if we don't answer all your questions during the presentation, because we will definitely answer all your questions at the very end of the webinar. So now I would like to introduce you to Professor Gabor Zemplén, who, after completing his master's degree at ELTE and his PhD at BMA, he held several teaching positions outside Hungary, in England, Germany, and Switzerland. His research and teaching focuses on argumentation and persuasion, science education, and history and the philosophy of science. He's now working with us as an international coordinator at the ELTE Institute of Business Economics, and he's working as a professor at the Department of Argumentation, Theory and Marketing. So the floor is yours, Gabor.
Thank you very much, Nettie. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Yeah. Okay, greetings to everyone. I will only sort of introduce you to our institute to give you a short impression of our Business Economics Institute, which is going to become a faculty from the coming academic year. I talk a bit about the programs, especially the two that Nettie already mentioned. And you've been entertained by this picture. This is our faculty building. So I'll also show you some of the glimpses of what the building looks like from the inside. To start with, the Institute of Business Economics is a very new institute. It was founded in 2017 at the most prestigious and oldest university at ELTE here in Hungary. But by the year 2000, we have 4 bachelor's programs that are all bilingual, and 2 are specifically offered as English-only degrees. These are the 2 ones that I'm going to talk about for international students. We have approximately 1,600 bachelor students by now. Even more, we have about 2,000 master's students and students doing their Master of Business Administration on the available 5 programs, which are all 2-year, either full-time or part-time programs. The offered glimpse into our rooms. This is what you can see from the outside. In the first picture, one of our lecture rooms converted from a bank into a business economics teaching unit. I won't talk too much about the other students, but if you come, you'll study with Hungarian students. One could say that now currently quite a large majority of our students are Hungarian and some of the best students in the country. Here you can see a comparison of the 10 largest business trainings in Hungary. You can see that at the top right corner, there are very few universities that have very high level points for minimum entry, which is basically about 400 points in the Hungarian system. And most of the students come from high achievers, which is the y-axis, the percentage of students who come with very good points from high schools. This means that at ELTE you work together with lots of good Hungarian students and an increasing and growing number of international students from various countries and continents. I'm just checking that, yes, probably from all the continents that you are here now looking at the webinar, there are applicants. Altogether, ELTE has about 2,000 foreign students, so it's quite a significant number. I'll try to introduce in a few words the two programs that we run. One is the International Business Economics, which is a more general degree, and it's a bit longer. It's 8 semesters because it has a specific traineeship in international work environments. And the Finance and Accounting program, which is a bit more specific. It's for 7 semesters, but also to draw your attention to the fact that at our institute, when you start your studies, you still have the freedom to move over or transfer to the other program without any problems. So you can start at any one of the 2 programs and then basically make a decision to switch over to the other one. Let's see these programs one by one. The International Business Economics program is basically prepares you a bit more to work with people than with numbers. It prepares you to work in international work environments. There's lots of management issues, negotiations. For that, you need to be able to analyze various business processes. And we think that the skill set that ideally helps you is openness, communication skills, being able to work in groups, and being able to think in systems in larger structures. Of course, a number of specific courses will target these areas, like international financial management or political economy, national and international taxation, or a special training for negotiation techniques. For the other program, the Finance and Accounting, it's more dealing with numbers a bit more than with people. And if you're specializing or focusing on finance, you're in a way dealing a lot with the future, the sort of viability of economic scenarios or strategies for future scenarios. You will work with incomes, taxes, with plans, being able to devise the future steps of a company. While with accounting, it's a bit more about understanding and presenting past financial data, reports, but also not just to have stable and good bookkeeping, but also to forecast financial situations. We believe that the ideal skill set that can help you are analytic skills, precision, somewhat even akin to detective skills, comparisons, and all the kinds of sort of transversal skills that you will need to work possibly in a large multinational environment. The specific courses that target finance and accounting are corporate finance, accounting, in later years, analysis and controlling, and management accounting. I gave you a very short tour into these programs, but before moving on and letting others do the more personal introductions, I want to draw attention to some of the benefits. At our programs, all the courses that you are going to have that are planned in your course curriculum are 3 or 6 credit courses. They all come with lectures and seminars. So we don't have a separate system for just lectures and then some seminars. All courses are combined, and the seminars usually focus on practical problems. This, we think, is important for didactic reasons, but probably for our students, the even more important benefit is that in our institute, for all the courses, you can get a grade working hard during midterms, distributing the workload, or deciding to just take an exam. That is, wait for the exam period when you have a more comprehensive exam. This means that you can distribute your workload. Each student makes decisions at the beginning of each semester how much time they have. And if they want to maximize, for example, travel time, they can actually have whole exam periods without exams if they worked during the training periods. There are also two links describing a bit more about the courses and the course structures, but I wanted to give you a quick introduction into the two programs that we offer for you and some of the benefits. I'll leave you with a few links for the Students' Union. We have a lively Students' Union, and if you come to us, you'll receive mentorship help from fellow students, as well as the help from the International Office. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Gabor. I think it was a very thorough presentation. And any questions are welcome, of course, at the very end of the webinar. And now we will proceed to the teacher's perspective section of our webinar, which will be given by Professor Patrick Baud, who earned his BSE in electrical engineering and then later on completed his master's in economics from the State University of New York at Buffalo. Hello, Patrick. And later on, he also worked in the financial industry for Citigroup as part of the Fixed Income Research Division. And then later on, he completed his PhD. And now he's working with us and teaches the English language sections of Economics 1 and 2. And he has also taught at the University of Illinois at Chicago and the University of Toronto. So hello, Patrick, the floor is yours now.
Hi, everybody. I hope you can all hear me. So that was a nice introduction. Thanks, Nettie. Goodness, I've done a lot of different things, haven't I? So, you know, as Nettie pointed out, I did not come directly into economics. I was an engineer as an undergrad, went to work in the finance industry, got to travel the world doing that a little bit before returning to graduate school to do economics, because I found that economics was the discipline which provided a lens through which I got to analyze all sorts of different problems. Originally, I was interested in things like environmental issues, okay, and how do economic models incorporate environmental degradation and resource utilization. But as I studied, I got pulled towards the economics of education. This is a subset of labor economics, and my research interests really focus on injecting incentives. Incentives is a primary concept in economics, injecting incentives into the public education sector as a way to improve performance and improve education. So in the US context, this has to do with these things called charter schools. I won't get into the details. And also accountability rating systems, kind of giving schools grades so that they can maybe not necessarily be punished if they do poorly, but at least let it be announced that the school is doing poorly, or they can be rewarded if they do well. So these are the types of ideas about injecting information into public education and economic concepts to try and improve performance. Since my research perspective, so as Nettie said, I've been at University of Illinois in Chicago, University of Toronto in Canada. I'm now here at ELTE, and I've been here for just about a year and a half now. And from my perspective, the faculty here, the quality of the students, the attention paid to student needs rivals what I've seen at Western universities. So I think the program here is excellent. The education which you receive is great. Or let me give a caveat, it can be great if you're willing to put in the work for it, but this applies everywhere. If you're a hard worker and you want to come and learn and get the most out of your degree, there's nowhere better to go than ELTE. So here at ELTE, what I teach for both of these degrees, obviously I'm teaching the English language program. My Hungarian, I'm working on learning it, but it's not, it's really my first foreign language, so it's going slowly. But I teach the two introductory economics courses, These are in your second and third semesters. Economics 1 is in essence microeconomics. This deals with concepts like consumer choice, production, externalities, public goods. We get into some game theory, which people find quite interesting. And then economics 2 is more of a macro course. We talk about growth, measuring GDP, looking at financial markets and the economics of money supply, things like that. This economics 1 and 2. The first course is a 6-credit course. Second one is a 3-credit course. And I also teach, or will be teaching, a course called Data Analysis in Social Sciences. This is something which comes after statistics, and it's a way of, what I'll teach in this class is how to analyze data that you see in the world to answer questions to help guide policymakers. Policymakers is our way of describing government officials. They make policies. And we, as economists, like to produce research which can help guide policy. Okay, when you read that studies show something, or the estimated effect of this new tax cut will be so and so, these are things which economists are coming up with and producing, and I try to teach methods on how to produce such research. Okay, broadly speaking, about my teaching approach, my class is very large right now. It's 450 students. However, that doesn't mean that there's not an avenue for dialogue and Socratic learning. As Professor Zemplin pointed out, there's seminars as well, which are smaller. So we have larger lectures where it's kind of like me, the professor, delivering the information, and then smaller seminars where we get a chance to engage with the material more intimately, answer questions that I give, I answer questions which you ask, and we can kind of have a natural flow to things. And this is available for you if you wish to take it. If this isn't the way you want to learn, that's fine. It's not forced upon you, but it's available. And the overall goal of my teaching is to get students to learn to think like an economist, to evaluate your choices in a rational way. I won't get into what that means because you'll learn that if you choose and are accepted to come to ELTE. So the last thing I wanted to talk about isn't directly related to my life at ELTE, but more my life in Budapest as a foreigner. I've been coming to Budapest since 2008 when I met my wife. My wife is Hungarian. This was before I went back to graduate school, so I was still working in the banking sector. And Budapest is an amazing city. It's fantastic. It's a great place to be young and to be a student. There's a vibrant international student scene. Obviously, with the pandemic, some of these things have been a bit limited, but things are getting much, much better here every day. But there's plenty of pubs and cafes and live music and beautiful parks. Every day I'm learning about a new park or outdoor space which I can explore. You have the bustling, young, kind of grungy, hip, Pest side of the city. And then you also have a more calm, nature-filled Buda side of the city, which is more hilly, and within public transport, you can get out into nature. Having lived in Chicago, New York, Toronto, London, all cities at least 4 times the size of Budapest, the idea of getting into nature so easily from a city was very foreign to me, and it's a beautiful thing to have here. Yeah, that's everything that I want to talk about. So at the end, when we get to the Q&A, I'll be happy to field any questions which you might have relating to life here as a foreigner. And obviously, as I mentioned before, since I'm not a native Hungarian speaker, I can still get around perfectly fine. Plenty of people speak English, and it's possible to learn enough Hungarian to get by with the people who don't speak English. So it's a pleasure talking to everybody.
Thank you so much, Patrick, for touching so many topics and real-life experiences. So now we are going to proceed to the students' perspective section. And we will start with Khanh giving her a short presentation on teaching, study curriculum, and her personal experiences at ELTE Institute of Business Economics. Khanh is from Vietnam. She's doing her BA in International Business Economics. And she has a deep interest in financial investments, business management, and corporate operation. We are very proud of her because she has also worked for ISAC as an exchange consultant and human resources executive. And she's an active member in the Vietnamese Student Association in Hungary, which is run by the Vietnam Embassy in Hungary. So Khanh, the floor is yours.
Hello, thank you, Miss Annette, and hello, everybody. My name is An, and I'm from Vietnam. Today, I would like to share my story as an international student in the Institute of Business Economics. So, like many of you here, I first heard of ELTE as one of the leading research university in Hungary, and among the vast majority of the study programs, I immediately applied for a bachelor study in international business economics, because this has been my ultimate passion for so many years. At first, I expected that studying here would be quite demanding and they have high requirements. But later on, it turns out that the challenge here is exactly what I need in order to transform myself and reinvent in my study. And now I'll tell you why. So my very first experience with the Institute started with my professors. I have to admit that they have a charismatic teaching style that adds color to every lecture they give. For example, last semester, we have a very interesting accounting professors whose sense of humor is out of this world. Because of the pandemic, we were forced to stay at home, and my professor, unfortunately, he ended up giving lecture to an empty room. So later on, he brought two of his son's stuffed toys, like teddy bears, to the classroom and pretended that they were his students. So imagine having two teddy bears attentively listening to accounting analysis, just the same as you at that moment. So that's how lovely my professors would go beyond their responsibility to adjust their students. But I think the most fascinating aspects lies in their ability to think uniquely. So what I mean by that is that they don't just show us the formulas, the equations, or give us like direct explanation. Instead, they tend to dig deep into the problem and show us, like encourage us to understand the underlying core ideas. So I really appreciate my microeconomics professor for not showing directly the explanation, but try to encourage us to connect the information given in a text. So I think in this way, creativity and critical thinking is highly enhanced among the students. And I also want to mention the curriculum for bachelor study and what I like about it. So before I came to Budapest to study, I was in Vietnam. I participated in some of the business-related contests and activities, and I was always stuck at the calculating part, the analytical part that demands many calculations, and I just can't get through that part. But now, thanks to the accounting, economics, mathematics, and finance courses offered throughout the programs, I am now much more confident in tackling down those problems. And I think that they provide us like many powerful tools to derive better insights into the business world. But most importantly, they help me overcome my fear with numbers, of course. And now I think that this will be very helpful stepping stones for me to achieve my goals as a business consultant in the future. So I would like also to tell you a bit more about the classmates and the international students here. So the majority of my classmates is Hungarian, and I cannot tell how I admire them for their diligence and their effective learning style. The classroom environment is like always very supportive and collaborative, because students is not afraid to give their own ideas and discuss the matter with each other. And sometimes before the deadlines and the exams, some of the students would also send their notes for better exam preparation. And I think that's very kind of them. Up until now, many friends I meet at ELTE are very open to new experiences and eager to learn, especially from outside of the classroom. Last holiday, during the spring break, I had a chance to go skiing with one of my classmates. And because I was from a tropical climate, I don't really have firsthand experience with snow, let alone skiing, right? But he taught me, and I think it was a very fascinating, extraordinary, and eye-widening experience. And I would like to do it again this year too. So now I would like to show you some of the pictures that I have here. So this is the girl. She's like an Ukrainian girl that I met in the dorm, and I introduced her to my friend who is good at photography. And guess what? We have like a day around Budapest, touring through all of the destinations, and we have lovely pictures that my friend took for her. And I think that this is such an extraordinary connection that I make here, and it shows that integrating into a new environment is not as hard as you think. And so, talking about the experience, here are some couples of pictures about the trips to other parts of Hungary beside Budapest that I visited. First of all, is the Lake Balaton. I fell in love with Lake Balaton. And first of all, I went to Siófok and another time in Tihan. And every region has its own beauty in some way. And later on, I also visited Esztergom and visited the basilica there, the largest basilica in Hungary. And I discovered how Hungary is such a beautiful country, and I cannot wait to go to another regions in Hungary before I go everywhere in Europe. So after 1 year of studying, I can confirm that the study here is no child's play, but it's definitely worth the effort. So all of the experiences of my interacting with my friends, my professors, my classmates, mentors, it all corresponds to the image of ELTE, to ELTE's motto, which is the community of knowledge. In this community, you are entitled to so many opportunities where your talents can be discovered and nurtured. Right now, it may seem a little bit far away, but trust me, you will thank yourself later for striving. So after this presentation, I really hope that you have a clear image in mind of what studying in ELTE is like, and maybe it would give you some motivation to apply for the Institute of Business Economics. So right now, I would like to thank you for your kind attention.
Khanh, thank you so much for this presentation. I listened to your presentation beforehand, and I believe that I should apply to ELTE, to be honest. You make me so motivated, and this enthusiasm is just amazing. So thank you again. So now we will proceed to our last speaker, Saptadip Dey, who is from Bangladesh, and he's doing the same course as Khanh. He's studying as a BA student in international business economics. And in his free time, he's also a documentary photographer. He's very creative and passionate. And he's also working part-time as a game master at Exit the Room, Budapest. So he will give you a nice presentation about opportunities, job opportunities, and also opportunities to socialize, and an insight about the international community here at ELTE and in Budapest. So the floor is yours, Saptadip.
Thank you, Ms. Anit. Hello, everybody. My name is Saptadip Dey, and I'm from Bangladesh, and I'm doing a bachelor degree in international business economics at ELTE. And today I'm here to share you the story of mine. So I was always wondering, like, I was always keen to study business economics, but my higher secondary education was based on pure science, and it was really a hard decision for me to make. But to be honest, I'm so glad that I made it. First of all, I would like to talk about the course curriculum of our university. I would definitely love to say that it is so well organized that I didn't feel any sort of hardship during the whole study. And thanks to our beloved professor and their teaching skills, it made us so easy. It made the whole stuff so easy to connect with the people. And I would also like to mention the online platform that we have here, because during this pandemic, since there are no contact classes, we have to rely on virtual learning. And I was very anxious about it, what will happen. But I would definitely love to say that the online platform is so well organized that it's very interactive and interesting as well. Like, we can see our professor on one part of the video, and the other part is showing us what he is writing on the notepad. I think it's very interesting for us, and it's really, really amazing to study here. And now I'll talk about the job opportunities and social activities. And for that, I would like to share some slide with you. So can you guys see the slide? Please do let me know.
Yes.
Okay. So this is my presentation here. My name is Saptadip Dey again, and I'm going to talk about the international communities and job opportunities here. First of all, I would like to talk about the social activities here. Since everybody knows that Budapest is the city of all the social gatherings, it's an amazing city and a very beautiful city. It's full with pubs and clubs, so I really don't want to talk about much of those. But I do want to talk about a few other clubs that you can join here. First of all, I'd like to present you Blah Blah Language Club, Couchsurfers, Erasmus Life Budapest, and Budapest Association for International Sports. All of them are for social gathering, and especially Blah Blah Club is a language club where you can meet people from different nations, and you can share your own values and get to know different values from other people. I think my academic discipline is mostly dealing with people, and it's enhanced the communication quality of mine. And for the Couchsurfers, it means that the ones who are using Couchsurfing application, it's a travel application, and you can be hosted in different countries, and you can also host people from different parts of the world who are visiting Budapest. And I think it's a really great source to meet new people. I usually use it for my street photography and documentary photography, because whenever I'm going out, I just text that I'm going out. If anyone is interested, you can join me and we can meet up. And that's how I'm loving this application. I also included Erasmus Life Budapest. It's basically a student organization, so where you can meet students from different universities here. They have weekly activities as well as monthly activities. You can go for campings, you can go for clubbings, and it's a fantastic source to meet new people. Also, Budapest Association for International Sports offer us different outdoor activities and sports. And I think this is the most important part of my presentation is the part-time job opportunities. I have made it into 3 criteria. The first one is LinkedIn, the other one is Work in Budapest, and the last one is YDIAC. So LinkedIn is especially for the ones who are searching for internship. I believe there are a lot of job opportunities there. If you're willing to do any sort of internship in different company, you just have to sign in there and you have to submit your CVs. And that way you have a good opportunity to be in that particular job. And then if you're looking for a part-time job or some casual job as a student, Work in Budapest is your place. You can search it on Facebook and you'll find this group. This group is especially for the employers and for the employees. Usually the employers post group postings there, and you can search. If it fits you, you can just tell them and they'll send you an email where you can send your CV and you can be hired there. And lastly, I'd also like to mention that YDIAC, it's a student recruitment agency where you can register and you have to give your CV there, and the employers will contact you with the further proceedings. And the bonus tip for getting job here is that since I only speak English and my mother tongue Bangla, first of all, it was very hard for me to get jobs because I really didn't have any other ideas. Where can I search jobs? But after meeting few people in different social activities, for example, Blah Blah Language Club and Couchsurfers, I get to know that, okay, there are these sources where I can get job. And I think it's very easy to get job here. Even if you're an English speaker, you just have to search for jobs in these particular groups. And I would also like to mention that I'm working as an online game master for Escape Room. It's a very fun job. I used to meet different people from around the world through Zoom application, and we play the games together. And thank you so much. That is all from my side. I hope you guys have enjoyed my presentation, but if you have any sort of question, do let me know. And if you're here, just hit me up. I'm here. We are all here to help you all. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Saptadip. Thank you so much for this enthusiastic presentation. I'm usually speechless when I hear all these student experiences. So yes, we can proceed now to the Q&A mode, and let's see the questions one by one. We've got our own building Q, within the Trafford Garden campus. So it's not the Faculty of Social Sciences building. So yes, the classes for Hungarian international students are held together, but the classes are in English. That's right, yes. So Hungarian students have the possibility as well to take up some courses in English, and that means that they are studying mixed with international students. Yes, sure, you can. Absolutely. Welcoming you here. Yes, so we've got 2 semesters for the internship, and you are not obliged to complete it in Hungary. Our main focus is that you have work experience in an international environment, which means that you can apply for an internship even abroad. At the moment, we've got 50 places for this program. And we are looking forward to receive your application. The application deadline is the 31st of May, just for you to know. Yes, you can. You can. So there is a possibility to complete the internship even before the semesters which are allocated for the internships. So yeah. Any other questions, maybe? Well, I'm not sure what you mean by specific, but you do have a final exam at the very end of the program. Thank you. So there is no limit in terms of the number of courses, but because you can take up a little bit more and a little bit less as well than what is recommended. What we are recommending you is to take up 30 credits. And we have a course curriculum, which is quite strict at the very beginning of the program, which means that in the first 3-4 semesters. So we are highly recommending you to take up these 30 credits, which would probably be maybe 6 or 7 courses for a semester.
Yeah, to get back to the earlier question, during your studies, there are a few exams that would cover various subjects, but these exams are not too long and they don't cover all the previous subjects together, only kind of the best bits of it. So, so you have some sort of collated general exams. For the very end of your studies, of course, you will have had written a thesis. You have a project work, which goes on for 3 semesters. You develop a business problem, and basically your semesters that you do your research and you develop the problem and the possible ways of solving it is spent with consultations and discussions with a tutor or a professor who is sort of helping you, and then at the end you have to defend this thesis. So so the thesis has to be defended basically at the end of the program. We also had a question on the number of scholarships, and we currently have no specific scholarship scheme for the international students who apply to us for the degree program, but quite possibly we'll have a scholarship from September, which means that some people will get reduced fees. But currently there's no, there are plans, but nothing has been decided. But for the year you're starting, there are no specific scholarships at ELTE IB, but of course there's the general Stipendium Hungaricum scholarship, and for some countries, some people who are already studying in Hungary can sort of reapply via the Stipendium Hungarium scholarship. Also to, of course, there is a possibility to take Hungarian language classes. In fact, ELTE has a strong program in teaching Hungarian as a foreign language for all levels of students, and you'll be encouraged to do so, but you don't have to. Yeah. There's one more question that was probably earlier that could be addressed again. How many courses are allowed to take each semester? Net is stressed the 30 credits. We have a modular timetable, which means that when you start your year, you'll have quite intense weeks with a few subjects, and the number of subjects will be done by the middle of the semester. So we generally suggest people to try the suggested 30 credits and see how they fare. Is it too difficult? Is it too easy? And then to think about maximizing or increasing the number of courses. But maybe the fellow students can have a perspective on that as well. Okay, I'm just looking through whether there are any other questions that might have an addition. Yes, with the internships, requirements. It's even possible to do the internship outside Hungary. There are even scholarships for that. So if you're a student, then Erasmus internships allow you to not just study a semester at another university. Currently, we have about 40 university contacts that we plan on growing to about 60, 70 within a year. But you're also able to look for a traineeship placement, go abroad, and then get that as part of your training accredited here. Yeah. Are there any other questions, or shall I mute myself and give the floor to someone else? Well, maybe Nettie to close the meeting.
All right. Yes, I don't see any more questions, or maybe this very last one. Yes.
Well, you'll have to see, because you need to do and write your thesis work as well, which is quite a lot of work. So when you look at the credits, always think of one credit as 30 hours of work, not necessarily, or in fact, not really most of it spent in class, but reading the materials, preparing for assignments, etc., etc. So I think one semester shrinking is possible and doable, but probably not too much more, depending on which training you are in. But in fact, the traineeship requirement, as far as I know, requires you to have 400 hours of work. And then there's a special way to sort of prove that, where you worked, etc., etc. And so it can be done before the semester than when it is scheduled for. Yeah.
Perfect. Okay. Oh, another question.
Over 50 sports are done on campus, sometimes with very good teams, sort of taking roles in championships. There are different types of things. You can do sports for credit. You can join teams. You can have your own teams and take part in various competitions. These are sometimes even in the late evening hours, like playing ball games at 10 p.m., but quite a lot of possibilities. I don't know. Probably the others also have options or responses to this one.
I would piggyback off of the previous question that tennis is available. So you can continue your tennis point.
Okay. So we are waiting for the last questions, if there are any.
If you type ELTE BEAC, ELTE BEAC, that will basically link you to the sports possibilities. ELTE, as an old university, has some of the oldest clubs for various sports in Hungary, or at least some of the, very old sports clubs.
Okay. As it seems, there are no more questions. So then I will start ending this webinar. Well, thank you so much for being here with us. I hope that it was a very informative and thorough set of presentations for all of you. And if you've got any more questions, then don't hesitate to email us. Our contact is on our website. So we are very much looking forward to see your applications, and don't forget that the application deadline is the 31st of May. So we wish you a very nice rest of your day, and good luck for the applications. Thank you for being here. Goodbye.